Right now, somewhere in your mind, a conversation is happening that will never take place. An outcome is being rehearsed that will not occur. A problem is being turned over, again and again, that has no solution available to you in this moment. Somebody said something 3 days ago, and you're still composing the response. This is not a flaw. This is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is what happens when a mind with no clear instruction about where to place its attention defaults to the path of least resistance, which turns out to be rehearsing futures that aren't real and relitigating pasts that can't be changed. The Stoics called this, in different ways, across different texts, the same thing: attention placed outside the circle. Energy spent in territory that belongs to no one. Here's what it actually costs. The problem you're turning over may be real. The person who said the thing may have genuinely said it. The outcome you're anxious about may materialize. None of that is the issue. The issue is this: the portion of your mind that is doing all that work is the same portion that could be doing something else. Not resting, working. Present, directed, effective work. The kind that requires focus. The kind that actually produces something. Overthinking doesn't just take time. It takes the specific quality of attention that is most valuable and least replaceable. And it spends it on scenarios that, by definition, you cannot act on, because they either haven't happened yet or have already happened and are finished. The Stoics diagnosed this problem in precise terms. 3 of them arrived, from different angles, at the same prescription. Lesson 1: Marcus Aurelius on the time zone of attention. He wrote, in Book 4 of Meditations, "Confine yourself to the present." 4 words. But the full thought behind them is more specific than the brevity suggests. He wrote elsewhere, "Do not let your mind run on what you lack as much as on what you have already. Of the things you have, select the best, and then reflect how eagerly they would have been sought if you did not have them. At the same time, be careful not to overvalue them through an excess of delight in them, so that you are troubled if you ever lose them." What Marcus is pointing to is not just a preference for the present tense. It's a diagnosis. Most of the anxiety, regret, and mental noise that consumes human attention is generated by placing that attention in time zones where it cannot act. The past is finished. Nothing you think about it will change it. The only productive relationship with the past is the lesson, extracted, applied, and then put down. The future is not yet accessible. Planning for it is useful. Rehearsing catastrophic versions of it, in increasing levels of detail, is not planning, it is the feeling of planning without the result. The present moment is the only place where your attention can produce a result. It is the only time zone where action is available. He practiced this in the most difficult circumstances. He wrote meditations during military campaigns, surrounded by conditions that gave him every reason to dwell on what could go wrong. He kept returning, in page after page, to the instruction: this moment, this breath, this hour. Lesson 2: Seneca on reclaiming yourself. He wrote, in his very first letter to Lucilius, "Ita fac me Lucilii vindicati tibi." Do this, my Lucilius, reclaim yourself for yourself. The context makes the instruction specific. Seneca is writing to a friend who is, by all appearances, successful, busy, important, occupied. And Seneca's first letter begins not with congratulations but with a warning: you are allowing your time to be taken from you. He wrote, "Omnia Lucilii aliena sunt, tempus tantum nostrum est." Everything is foreign to us, Lucilius. Time alone belongs to us. What Seneca is identifying is the mechanism by which most overthinking is created. We allow our attention to be shaped by external inputs. The request that just arrived, the problem that belongs to someone else, the worry someone else planted, without ever pausing to ask whether we've chosen to put our attention there. He wrote, "People are frugal in guarding their personal property. But as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy." The practical instruction, before the day begins, before the inputs start arriving, Claim the first hour for directed attention. Not for the most urgent thing on someone else's list. For the thing that, if you were thinking clearly, you would choose. He called this, reclaiming yourself, the practice of placing your attention deliberately, rather than allowing it to be taken by whatever is loudest. The mental noise that overthinking generates is, in many cases, the sound of attention that has never been claimed. It fills the available space with whatever is most emotionally charged, because nothing more intentional has been put there first. Lesson 3: Epictetus and the one-question redirect. Epictetus' solution is the most practical of the three, and the one most directly applicable in the middle of an overthinking spiral. He wrote, in the Enchiridion, "Some things are in our control and others not." This is the entry point. But the application to overthinking is in the discourses, where he develops what is essentially a two-step process for redirecting misplaced attention. The first step is honest diagnosis. Is what I'm thinking about actually in my control right now? Not in principle, not eventually. Right now, in this moment, is there something I can do? If yes, do it. Stop thinking about it and act. The anxiety dissolves the moment it becomes action. If no, the second step. He wrote, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." That phrase, "take the rest as it happens," is the redirect. Not suppression. Not pretending you don't care about the outcome. But the deliberate withdrawal of attention from territory where it cannot act, and the return of that attention to where it can. He also wrote, "Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things." The scenario you're overthinking is almost never the thing causing the suffering. The suffering comes from the layer of interpretation, the story being built around the scenario, the meaning being projected onto outcomes that haven't arrived. That layer is yours. You built it. You can stop building it. Here is the practice, specific enough to use tonight. When you notice yourself overthinking, and the signal is usually the same loop, the same scenario, the same conversation playing again, ask one question. Is there something I can actually do about this right now? If yes, do it immediately before you think more. If no, write it down. Not to solve it, just to get it out of the loop. Then deliberately redirect your attention to the present. What is in front of you? What is available? What can be done with this hour? The Stoics weren't arguing that the future doesn't matter, or that difficult things don't deserve thought. They were arguing that the particular form of mental energy called overthinking, the loop, the rehearsal, the spiral, produces nothing. It is the feeling of work without the result of work. And the cure isn't distraction. It's direction. The Enchiridion of Epictetus is 53 short chapters. You can read it in an afternoon. Seneca's first letter to Lucilius is 1 page. Both are free on Project Gutenberg. I've linked them below. The next video goes back to Marcus Aurelius, specifically to the page in Book 5 where he argues with himself about getting out of bed, and what it tells us about discipline, about meaning, and about what actually motivates sustained effort when motivation is exactly what's missing. I'll see you there.